Hafide, good evening, and thanks for tuning in to the Pacific News Center's news. Now we are broadcasting live in Saipan and in Guam. I'm Clint Rigel.
And I'm Janella Carrera. Good evening. Your top story tonight: officers from Agate Precinct are being recognized as heroes today after they pulled a senior citizen from a burning vehicle overnight. PNT's Betsy Brown has more on the story.
Pull him farther. Let's pull him farther. Good job, guys. Good job.
Back him up, guys. Back him up.
Okay. Come on, let's go.
That thing gonna blow. That thing gonna blow, bro.
Southern residents are calling it a heroic act. Video has been circulating on social media showing officers from the Agate Precinct pulling a 65-year-old man from a burning vehicle. GPD spokesman Officer A.J. Balahadja says an officer noticed the car burning from the engine area after it ran off the road and struck a concrete pole. That officer tried to get the driver's attention, but according to Balahadja, the man was unconscious and non-responsive. So he called other officers to assist, and they arrived quickly and continued efforts to get the man out of the vehicle. Officers were unable to open the driver's side door due to damage from the collision, but in the video you see them pull the man from the passenger side of the vehicle only moments before the car is engulfed in flames.
Watched the video, I seen it online on Facebook, and I think that the officers, they took that person out of the car and saved their lives is outstanding.
Southern Blends owner Gar Atkinson wasn't surprised to see the rescue on video, as he says the officers from the Agate Precinct are always there when residents need them. The officers involved in the rescue have been identified as Alan Guzman, Brian Gumatautau, Daryl Kitagwa, John Camacho, and Kine Pangilinan. Guam Memorial Hospital Public Information Officer June Perez says as of this afternoon, the driver of the vehicle was listed in serious and guarded condition. Betsy Brown, PNC News.
Meanwhile, in District Court today, Attorney General Elizabeth Barrett Anderson updated the judge on progress made on DOC's stipulated agreement. Anderson announced that since federal Judge Alex Munson's order issued January 16, DOC has made significant progress in meeting deadlines that the judge set. Most of the issues in Judge Munson's order relate to medical and mental health issues. Only one issue deals with the prison's electronic locking system, an issue the Attorney General says she didn't expect would still exist some 20 years later. Anderson pointed out that she's signed DOC's stipulated agreement with the federal government more than 20 years ago when she first served as Attorney General. Quote, "I can't believe that I come back 20 years later and they still have a locking issue," she said, vowing to see this case end during her current term. Anderson says that under her leadership, DOC has made significant progress and is scheduled to begin construction on the locking system by this summer. She also said that partnerships are being made with the Guam Memorial Hospital and Guam Behavioral Health Center to streamline health care for the prisoners.
And federal judge Frances Tydinko Gatewood did something virtually unheard of today. She had a bite of prison food. And to make it even more official, she did it from the bench. So why would anyone, let alone a judge, try prison food? Well, she says it's to demonstrate her commitment to resolving complaints that prisoners are starving.
I think her effort in taking a bite of the meal was to show the detainees that she's serious about this, and we all got the message.
It was a bold move for Chief District Court Judge Frances Tydinko Gatewood to try prison food, and it was a decision she made at the last minute after listening to several hours of complaints from at least 3 prisoners about what they call deplorable and unacceptable meals at the Department of Corrections. Cameras were not allowed in the courtroom, but from the bench, Judge Gatewood appeared cautious and even joked at one point that she may not survive her attempt. After trying it for herself, she too agreed that it contained very little protein and too much carbs. The meat lacked seasoning, and the best tasting part of the meal, she said, was a piece of fruit. "I can see why you're constipated and hungry," she said. The federal detainees who are housed at Hagåtña lockup confirmed that what the judge ate today was similar to what they eat regularly. The detainees who showed up in federal court today are Vernon Dulé, who had pleaded guilty in Superior Court to a lesser-included charge of fourth-degree criminal sexual conduct for sexually assaulting a 12-year-old back in 2000, and then was subsequently charged in federal court in 2013 with failing to register as a sex offender. Justin Tysapik, who was indicted on robbery and firearms charges back in 2006, and Vincent Siguenza Cruz, who was also charged with illegal possession of firearms. Defense attorney Leilani Lujan, who represents all three prisoners, told Judge Gatewood that between the 29 inmates who signed a petition backing the three detainees, a total of 735 pounds of body weight had been lost in the span of less than a year. That's an average of 25 pounds per prisoner. Dulé, says Lujan, lost 55 pounds within 3 months. This, she said, speaks volumes. Judge Gatewood also said that in her 21 years as both a lawyer and a judge, this is the first time she's heard of prisoners starving. Just this past January, some inmates were complaining of their prison meals, while senators and the media were on a prison tour of DOC.
Plenty people here in this prison, they complaining about the food.
These guys, for the record, get 3 square meals.
Yes.
In fact, during that tour, the prisoners' lunch consisted of karage, seaweed kimchi, fruit, and rice. The prisoners stated that after going through the proper channels to voice their concerns and then being ignored, they were finally forced to take the matter up to federal court.
The next status hearing has been scheduled for June 24 at 9 a.m.
Meanwhile, Acting Governor Ray Tenorio recently signed several bills into law, one that will give funding to the Department of Corrections. Bill 22, now Public Law 3301, will allow DOC to make some court-ordered improvements to its healthcare system and purchase an electronic locking system. Tenorio also signed Bill 4, which was originally intended to roll back raises for the governor, lieutenant governor, cabinet members, and lawmakers. Bill 4, which is now Public Law 3303, now only requires a public hearing for bills that would change salaries for elected government officials. He also signed Bill 35 into Public Law 3307, creating the First Generation Trust Fund initiative to help local students go to college at UOG or GCC. In all, he signed a total of 7 bills, and for a complete list of those bills, log on to PacificNewsCenter.com.
Guahan Academy Charter School employees were left without paychecks after the school failed to pay them last Friday. GAC's vice chairperson of the board, Peggy Denny, confirmed that regular payroll was not met on Friday, February 28th. However, she said the employees were finally paid today. Asked what caused the delay in paying the charter school employees, Denny says it was a combination of factors and, quote, "it will not happen again." Interim Finance Operations Director Juan Flores tells PNC that the delay was caused by a computer glitch. He explains that the glitch prevented the transmittal of the payroll to their vendor and therefore transmittal to their bank. And since yesterday was a holiday, they were not able to resolve the issue until today. He emphasized that the delay had nothing to do with the school's finances. He also notes that this is the first time it has occurred since the school opened in the fall of 2013.
Gov Guam is proposing a quick fix to Route 4 rather than the more expensive permanent fix that the District Court is considering. Gov Guam says that its interim maintenance plan is a quicker way to address the safety concerns of the section of Route 4 that heads to the Luzon landfill.
Clinton, we're real concerned about safety. The governor, we met with the governor, and he's concerned about it too. So if we go through our normal planning process, it'll take a while. If we go through asking for federal funds and et cetera, et cetera.
So instead, DPW is opting to use as much of its own funds and own people as possible, and it's asking the District Court to allow it to use $1.4 million from the solid waste federal receiver to do some interim maintenance repairs to Route 4, which leads to Luzon landfill. Gov Guam submitted an interim maintenance plan to the U.S. District Court that it hopes will prove that Gov Guam can address the safety concerns of the southern road without having to spend $6.6 million on a permanent fix.
There are safety concerns. We're reviewing them as safety concerns, and we're addressing it, and this is the quickest way to do it.
And they believe the quickest and cheapest way to do this is to do it in-house, using their own employees.
We're looking at, for the shoulders where the tires go off the road, we're looking to increase that size and to increase the curb width, if you will. So it's moving lines increasing shoulder widths, and there's also rock cuttings that we're going to have to look at.
Leon Guerrero says they may have to shave down some of the rock walls that line the shoulders of the road here as well. Gov Guam believes this interim maintenance plan will address the safety issues of Route 4 quicker than it would if the court orders them to spend $6 million on a permanent fix.
Well, speaking of a quick fix, here's Blake Watson with a quick fix on sports.
Hey, be sure to stick around for sports because in case you stayed in, I didn't. EPAL Beach is where it was going down, the Marianas Cup Beach Volleyball Tournament. I'll have everything that you missed in case you didn't make it out to the beach in sports. Plus, we've got GFA Women's Bud Light Soccer League continuing week 6. Who wins, who stays undefeated, who loses, and all that other good stuff with goals plus soccer. Sports. I'll be there. You should too. See you then.